Oh yeah, look at that. Went right up the side.
Well, as you can see, after the lightning strike, tree never recovered. And it's interesting too that the lightning, when it hit in, it's almost like a square. Hi folks, this is John from Stonehouse Homestead, and yes, this is the day. This is when the tree service comes and takes our tree away. It was a really sad day, and the previous evening I went in and took a bunch of pictures. This tree is at least 75 years old, could be all the way up to over 100. Once the tree was cut down and I tried to count all the rings, some of the rings were so small that they all kind of blended in together. So most likely it's somewhere between 70 and 80 years old, but it could be as old as 100 years old. With that being said, as you can see here, the tree service is going to be using a bucket truck, and they're going to end up going and cutting most of the limbs off first, and then they're going to section off the tree from the top to the bottom. It's pretty interesting to see how they did this, but unfortunately it took hours upon hours. So what I've done is I've cut out a whole lot of the spaces where they're taking breaks and discussing what they're going to do, and I've also sped up the video. As you can see, these guys are walking around like they're in a Benny Hill TV show. So, but otherwise you guys would be totally bored and probably click off to watch something more interesting. So I've sped it up. I've cut out all the boring parts. So stick around and see how a tree service takes down a 100-foot, 75, 80-year-old tree in a relatively small, confined area. Enjoy. One of the really interesting things that you're going to see here is this gentleman here is cutting all these limbs and they're falling down, and the other guys are basically running in, pulling out the branches, I mean literally seconds before the next limb falls. So these guys are really coordinated with each other. It's really interesting to watch. It's a good thing that didn't fall on somebody's head. My goodness. You can see our little duck pool over to the far right. We had noticed that they were going to come today, so we put our ducks in garden. They had a fun time hunting bugs and dodging bunnies. At this stage, you can really tell on how bright things are with the tree gone. My goodness, it's almost like we have a whole nother backyard. It's really strange to not have that huge tree shading everything. It basically shaded the whole side of the house, especially in the afternoon and in the evening. That guy that is in the bucket, I mean, he not only is holding probably a good 10-15 pound chainsaw, but he's holding it out from his body, his center of gravity and stuff. So this guy's got to be super strong. And as you just saw, he's also a hard worker because he finished a section of the tree, came down and helped pull everything, or all the limbs out with the rest of the guys, and now he's back up sawing more of the tree down. It's amazing that there's still more limbs higher than this camera's picture frame. The frame in the camera. It's really amazing that there's still limbs way up there. Looks like they should be at the top, but nope. There's still more limbs falling. Ah, did you see that little SUV coming, and that little figure just ran past and ran in front of the truck, the red truck? That is Tovin's dog sitter. Some of the photos that you see in this video she took when she was standing on the front porch. Pretty soon you're going to see her. Oh, there she is. And there's Tovin. As you can see, the guy that was in the bucket is now helping. Ah, there goes Tovin and his pal, the dog sitter. And there's one of our neighbors. It's interesting. If I was walking past somebody cutting a tree down, I would stop and watch them a little bit, but here's a picture that the dog sitter took. Oh, there they are. You can see them. Zooming on by. By this time, they've already taken a break, so this is the second break. As you can see, I've basically cut most of it out. And here's our hard-working bucket man. And now he's cutting the tree's trunk bit by bit. Now this is really interesting. Watch carefully. He's able to cut through that big, thick trunk and then push it off. I have a hard time rolling them on the grass in our backyard, so this guy is pushing these things off. So here, the big chunks start falling. You can see all the sawdust coming out. It's almost like it's raining sawdust. When you get to see the length of this bar that's on the chainsaw, it is like really long. At this stage of the game, each one of these chunks that he's cutting out is approximately 18 inches in height, and then of course the diameter of the tree. But as he gets lower, those chunks start weighing more and more and more. Now watch what he does here. He leans way over, gets the other side, and then pushes. So I guess it's not so impressive at this stage of the game, but when he gets lower, those chunks are gotta be weighing at least maybe 100 to 200 pounds. Yeah, there it goes. Now, we specifically asked them to cut them in 18-inch sections, because my plan is to break them up and use them as containing as barriers, so that we could use them as raised bed walls. This is where the tree trunk gets really wide. It's a good 20 inches by this point. And I estimate it's probably around 30 inches in diameter at the base. So you can see while they were taking the limbs over, they were actually shredding them and dumping them into this truck. This truck now is backing up and is going to dump it out in the yard. So we're going to use all these chips for our garden. Now, right at this stage of the game, you can see how the trunk of the tree is a little bit wider at the top and kind of narrows down a bit. I didn't notice this all these years, but the tree did have a twist in it. And so it literally was narrower in one dimension and wider in another the closer you get to the ground. So I don't know if that meant that the tree was slowly bending over, and that's why there was, it was thinner in one particular part and, and wider in the other. That was really interesting to find out. You can see it really great right at this stage of the game. So this is also a part of the video where I cut out a big chunk because I took another break. Bless you. That was Tovin sneezing. Boy, you got the COVID? You can see now they're cleaning up which was really nice. I mean, you know, they got out some leaf blowers and rakes and stuff. Whoop, there it goes. They fell the whole thing and then cut it up into smaller chunks. But you'll see the guys coming around with leaf blowers and rakes and stuff. And they did a really fine job of cleaning up the whole backyard. Now, they didn't have the trunk grinder or whatever it's called, so they had to come back. And so, as you can see in the center, lower center of the screen, you can see some of the rounds that were left. Well, all these other rounds were there too, and they needed that cleared out before they could bring in the grinder. So they left that for me to do. So that's why I know these rounds, especially the big ones, are at least 100 to 200 pounds. I had to roll them across the yard to get them out of the way. And you can see this guy cleaning up the truck. Gotta have a clean equipment. More cleaning up. Leaf blower. Getting everything ready. Right now he's hooking up the wood chipper. That's why they're moving back and forth there with that big dump truck. There's a big chunk of video that I've cut out at this point as well. And as they say, that is that. My poor pine tree is finally gone. It was such a beautiful pine tree. Now it's gone. You can really see the difference there. Really opens up the backyard. Well, I hope you enjoyed this, and please click the like button and the subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Stonehouse Homestead.